through my life, at that point, it was the first time that I understood that I never got along with a man in my life in 30, and I didn't understand why. But it wasn't until I met my father and my grandfather, and they got a whiff of me.
When you met him, what age you was? I forgot.
30.
30.
You met him at 30?
At 30.
Your grandfather?
My dad's dad at 30.
He ain't know his dad. How you gonna know his dad's dad?
But what I'm saying is, right, and I'm not trying to insult anybody.
That's crazy.
You said what the brother said. Somebody said hold him to the same standard as a man. That's what men do, right? He was telling you the truth at that time. It don't matter if you didn't like it or not. It was the truth.
It was the man. That shit hurt, boy. But
Right.
also,
Let me
during that hurt, I had to figure out why he was saying that to me. Now, in the moment he said it, I couldn't hear nothing but I want to hurt this old dude. You know what I mean? This senior citizen. I had to check myself when I come down that I even wanted to hurt a senior citizen over some. But see, I was raised by my grandmother. I was raised by nothing but women. I was raised that if somebody say something to you, you check a motherfucker. You know, you not necessarily you get in their face. You don't take nothing. It was always fight.
So that I mean that was Sway's point. Sway, you know, I don't know if we ever said this before, but from the old heads around the way, we used to take a level of disrespect from them niggas too.
Yeah,
I know you did. I said that earlier in the other show.
You know what I'm saying? Like you be wanting them, but we be face to face, so it was a different type of like you could get upset, but it's gonna escalate too. So we was making business decisions. One of my man got slapped by one of the OGs one time, right? It was like you can't slap no man, like it ain't playing, you know what I'm saying, no matter what. So me and my other man, we raise up like, okay, it's about to go down, but he ain't do shit. I'm like, bro, we probably should have got beat up that day. You know what I'm saying? Like I was ready to take that ass whooping, but he still made that business decision. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was crazy. I mean, you know, it's a thing.
I'll be on some nut shit. That is it, but there's the OG right or wrong to now Rick saying, are they weak or not? And if you weak, you call it out regardless of, nigga, are they wrong regardless of, or is that just some standard that it's okay for y'all OGs to be dickheads and somehow we're supposed to still respect you?
Right, but listen to what I'm saying, right? I hear what y'all saying, right? But again, if it's true, why are you offended?
What?
You see what I'm saying?
Truth
hurt. Listen to what I'm saying. You have
in the face.
No. That's not the example I use, bro.
About being
that's not the example I use. I use what his grandfather told him the truth, right? So what you're saying is that you're not soft. So again, if it's not you, right? Is it true when I say it? And if it's not true, hold on, Sway, right? And if it's look, I try to stay as civil as I can in these things. I be disrespecting people and I don't know it, obviously, right? So what I'm saying is that if it's true, right, why would you take offense to it if it applies to you? That's all I'm asking. I'm not even saying it applies to you in this case, right? You feel insulted by it, but why? Especially if it's not true to you.
Because the examples they use to baseline why they're soft is I disagree with that.
Right. So the underlying factors, you can say you disagree, but does that change exactly what they're saying at the end of the day?
Yeah, because that's subjective to you. That's how y'all feel about it. The idea that I have to know how to change a tire, and if I don't, and I call another person to do it, I'm soft. Or I don't want to risk my life because a white boy said the N-word, that whatever the case may be. It's like the line doesn't stop because I don't want to risk my life that because a white boy said the N-word doesn't mean that I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I don't have to subject myself to be there. I just need to move differently than y'all because the way y'all move put y'all in a compromising position and set y'all family up for failure. So why repeat the same thing? That don't make no sense. So you just move differently, and y'all will call that soft.
Well, yeah, you softer than me in those aspects.
See,
but you would have to accept it though, right?
No.
The fact that you wouldn't get physical over something that you were not okay with, right? And it also
Smarter than you.
permeates to people. Well, maybe so, right? I could give you that you smarter, and you would have to give me that you softer.
Knowledgeable, more wise. I made a wiser decision.
Yeah, so you made a wiser decision. You also made a softer decision. See, you can't.
So
You have to accept it, right? You have
that
to
the
understand.
idea of soft though is subjective.
No, it's not.
Yes, that is.
White boy
That,
call
that
you nigga to your face, and you take that shit on the chin. Pause. That's some soft shit.
to you.
Now, is it smart? Because you're saying the implications could be great. I understand that, right? But it is soft to let somebody disrespect you to that degree and don't do nothing about it. That's all. I mean, those things. I don't think it's as subjective.
And
as
there are
you
some
think.
men that would think that it takes a lot of stoicism, whatever, to hold and restrain yourself in that moment and not put yourself in a compromising position and setting yourself up in a trap that white man was
One of the
losing.
synonyms. One of them
So,
synonyms
like
of
I said,
stoicism
man,
is meek.
That listen.
But you arguing a point, right? You just saying it's. I'm just saying it's soft. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. I'm saying you made a soft decision based on the implications.
But
it's not
Ham,
soft.
the way you're using it, the word soft, it sounds like an attack on the man's manhood and character.
So
if he made the
What
wiser
else is it?
decision,
Right.
if he made the wiser decision, is that really soft? If it's the wiser decision?
He just said he's smarter, right? Is that an attack? I said
Yeah,
okay, I agree.
Fans, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not discarding what he's saying. Don't make what he did soft in that not soft in that instance.
There's
It's
no
the
way to
same
quantify
debate
if that's soft or not, other
that
than you just say so.
But it's the same debate that like Malcolm X had with the nonviolent movement, right? Like he considered that soft. Doesn't mean that they weren't more effective, weren't smarter, weren't tactful, weren't strategic. All of those things, it still was looked at as soft. Even with the Black Panthers, they took the position that was soft, that was weak. It's the same thing. The point still stands, though.
Yeah, that's all it is, and that's what I mean about the conversation. Like, let's be genuine throughout it, even though we don't like a certain aspect, we need to accept it. Right, to get thorough understanding, right? The fact that we don't like things and therefore we have a obtuseness when that happens, I think is largely problematic in all of these conversations.
So that's cool. And if when the response is, "I dumb old nigga, you do you, and we're gonna do us," and then we're gonna have the constant divide because y'all like to subject it, the way we move and think is soft, even though that's a direct attack on our masculinity, and that does not bridge the divide. And so, like I said, okay, old nigga, you think that we gonna be shamed into putting ourselves in a dumb decision that you made and end up with the dumb outcomes you live in is not what we're gonna.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's happening those way.
The shame, blame, and explain don't really work, and as much as y'all try to pull it, I think that's a.
But Sway, what happens is you actually start to break down the conversation negatively, right? Because you're not willing to accept things that you think attack your masculinity. What we're doing is defining the situation. Dumb decision, agreed. Soft decision, agreed. Right?
No.
You can do what you will with the information, but to be dismissive doesn't make a lot of sense if you want to further the conversation and lessen the divide.
No, because like I said, there's a fundamental disagreement that situation, the decision we made is soft.
Sorry, Real. I think I interjected when you were trying to say something.
But
nah. I'm gonna leave that right there, fam.
Yeah, but no. I can't see what you're saying though, huh? Because like I said earlier, like my demeanor compared to my older brother's demeanor and the way they move and their actions and how they go about life, I'm way softer than what them niggas is.
Right.
It ain't even close.
Yeah.
And I can see the difference.
My bad, Granny. But what's crazy is, and I'm not trying to pick on nobody, right? We when we say that respect is the most important thing for a man, right? It's disrespectful when we as an OG that online point out something, but it's not that disrespectful in person. Right? So if any man truly being honest with himself, you know when you look at yourself in the mirror, disrespect is what destroys you from the inside out. I don't know how many times I was supposed to get into somebody, shout out to the manor, right? And I walked it off, but at home I should be like, I should have stole on them. Right? So But what I'm saying is, again, if we're just giving you advice and it's friendly and we're just trying to be honest, right? And then when we give you the truth for the way the matter looks, right, in manhood, right? Even though, like Ham said, it's the smart decision. You're right, it's the smart decision. But sometimes it ain't the smart decision that you got to make the correct decision, right? So again, it's not picking on you. It's not trying to put you down. It's simply talking to you as a man and identify it the way it looks. And what happens is when you continue to make those decisions that you inside chip at your disrespect, what's going to happen is your self-confidence and your self-esteem is going to go farther and farther into your fucking shoes. Right? So again, what are we doing here?
Yo, Slick Rick, I just want to answer this one piece, right? Because I know a lot of times when I'm talking with these young bloods, Sway mentioned it earlier. It was a question. I hear it a lot. Like, who are you to say? Who are you to da? Like this group assembled right now. The group says so, right? When you think about culture, traditions, who makes the decision on this? Like the group says so. In my neighborhood, you know. Regardless, I know everybody they own man and big and bad and bold, whatever. Woo. Everybody looks for some type of validation or acceptance for somebody that they admire that's older than them that they look up to. You want that validation and acceptance. That group of men that you're surrounded by or that's in your cipher or whatever, those are the ones that decide. And most of the times, more times than not, like especially on this particular panel, we're aligning on, you know, what we think the basis are. I don't know if we ever got to the point where we aligned on traditions or what traditionalism is, or you know, I don't know if y'all getting back to that, but in this particular instance, and this is just being honest, that again, it could be the smart decision, the intelligent decision, it could be the most savvy decision, all of that in the world, and it could still be a soft decision, and then that just is what it is, you know.
You're justifying us as our beings as being soft, but then in the same breath, y'all will also say y'all are scared to confront us because we're gonna kill you.
Who?
Older black men.
Yeah, so older black men not wanting to get shot. He's saying like, if for his generation, we would say,
to get shot. I mean, it just seems like
listen, I don't know no dude that's scared to have a conversation with a young blood. Outside of fear of a weapon being drawn on them, you think like somebody saying like, I don't want to fight with the young boy, I'm scared to.
But these older men have also said that they don't fight no more either. They pulling out the strap.
I don't fight.
So they ready to exactly. So y'all ready to shoot them, even if they're willing to fight you.
Listen, I don't want to go too far down that pathway. I'm just saying I've tasted my I'm gonna make it make sense for you, brother. I've tasted my own blood in my mouth.
Though.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. What are you talking about?
How you can justify
in the real cities, like that's what I'm saying. Like in the real cities where it's actually a bunch of black people, ain't no older brothers not being around young boys. What are you talking about? That's dumb.
So we're talking about only major cities now, right?
Well, because you got to talk to where the majority of black people are actually having confrontation, confronting each other, and being around each other. Like how many black people are in a consolidated 3-mile radius where you at? Where do you see older black men avoiding each other, avoiding young boys? That's not true. It's just not true. It's just not true. Everybody's strapped. Ain't nobody walk around naked. But if the young boys is loitering in front of the 7-Eleven, hey fellas, come on. And 90% of the time, young boys are, oh my bad, OG. Like come on, man.
So you're saying there is no divide.
What I'm saying is we converse and we talk to each other.
So like what divide or not in none of this.
We're having a conversation. We're having a conversation, right, about the divides, but we're saying that we interact on a daily basis. Ain't no OGs scared of no young boys. They ain't just start making guns when you turn 18.
You're talking about their OGs, correct? The quote unquote bad.
No, I'm not from this neighborhood. So where I lived at, I'm not from DC, right? But the place in which I lived, you could look at the different streets and it's 99% black, right? People interact. When I go up and pick trash, when I wake up in the morning and pick up trash, all young boys, they don't give you no prop. Like I don't understand. Like it's unrealistic what you're saying. Old heads are not scared of the young boys. That's
This
all
is
I'm
what
telling
I'm taking off of what they said on these panels, Hamp. In real life, that's what I'm saying. It seems like
you. Okay.
the ones that
Oh,
have
okay.
no relations to them and they want to reach out, the educated brothers, the the ones that think that they can inspire and give more, and they feel that since they don't know them and they can't relate to them culturally because they don't live that, like, they can't see, you different. So those men that didn't grow up in the hood or reflect on the hood, or maybe they did and didn't reflect on it, they're scared to go talk to them.
So okay, so you're saying people have said like, I ain't fucking with them.
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
And when they do say, if
that's
they
why I
were
was
to
so
even
confused.
them,
I'm like, who
they
the hell
pulling the
said
strap.
that? Say it again, my bad.
It's either they're scared that the young bulls is going to pull the strap on them, or if they decide to fight them, they said they not fighting no more and they're going to put a strap on them. So it's like, well, somebody getting the strap.
Niggas just be too old. Fucking be fighting. I think that's what
Niggas
happened.
be old.
But they call niggas soft because they don't want to go hand to hand. So that's what I'm saying. Make it make sense. If you talking about fighting, then fight for real. Don't say you too old now. You trying to pull the strap and then make fun of us when we ready to pull the strap on you. But you ready to pull the strap on us because y'all old.
That throws me off too. Niggas been getting smoked forever. I just don't understand. I don't understand this lot. Like
niggas was getting smoked more back in your day, huh? Between the ages of 10
I'm thinking a little bit before me, like especially the 80s.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll put it in Rilla age group and Ricky.
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't know how old TJ is.
That's why.
After Jordans when I was coming up.
That's why, Granny. That's why we've been having these conversations about going through the talking points, right? Because that makes zero sense. Niggas was getting they block knocked the fuck off.
That's why I was on the straight and narrow, because I saw what my older brothers in them was doing. I was like, nigga, I can't do that. I'm gonna stay my ass on this motherfucking stoop.
Think about it, especially
I can't do that.
You know you can't get away with nothing. CCTV is everywhere now. That shit wasn't a thing. Forensics wasn't like yo man. It just niggas went down in history for smoking gangsters and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. I don't know. It's odd. But now I understand. I see where Sway coming from, because he heard this shit before. I'm just like, where the fuck was Rilla when niggas was talking dumb like this? It's Rilla fault.
I've only said things that I've heard get y'all said out your own mouth.
Really, you heard these saying this shit. You just let them say it. Really, come on. Like
I spent a year and a half to 2 years asking straight questions on like where it started and what do y'all think, what do you this and that, and then I'm like, now I use and bring it all together, and like there's so many conflations. Especially when it seems like you like pick and choose and do the same shit that we complain with the women. Y'all like to use certain things to make your arguments, and then don't like to accept them when we got to talk about other arguments, because then it conflates.